Hi, my name is Teresa. Um, Back at the beginning of July, my husband and I were blessed with a camper. I have a family reunion that I go to or try to attend in Manitoba at the August long weekend. So I uh, was going to drive the truck and the camper by myself because my husband was not going to join me this year. So at the last week of the Monday, I guess it was July 25th, I started off on my journey to Manitoba with the camper. And when I left, I actually was crying because I was terrified to drive on the 401 with this camper because I hadn't had any practice on going on the 401. So as I'm driving along, I barely even left our driveway and I was crying. Anyways, I'm like, but God, my pride, I've told too many people I have to do this. So I did, and I did do it, and it worked out okay. The first thing that had happened after that was I turned the wrong way on the 407, and my husband actually had put a tracker on my phone or whatever it's called, whatever it is. Anyways, he said, "You're going the wrong direction," and he directed me how to get back onto get turned around and get going the right direction. So that was pretty awesome. So praise God for that. And then the next thing that had happened was I was driving along, and these people in a vehicle were driving beside me, and they started pointing at my vehicle, and I thought they were just being, funny or whatever, and I was like nodded my head, like, yeah, sure. And then I had this really sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I was like, oh my God, I need to pull over, and I need to check my vehicle, my camper. So I found a spot, and it's on the Trans Canada. It's very hard to find places that are safe to pull over because a lot of the times the shoulder is sloped or it's a soft shoulder, so it's really not safe to pull over a truck and a camper. So I found a spot, and again, I was really not in a safe place because I kind of parked on around a curve, which was not a good spot either because people coming around the curve were not able to pull out to the next lane. Anyway, so as I pull over, I get out of the truck, and I go and I get to the camper, and I hear my tire was going flat and going flat rapidly. So I grab my cell phone and I call my husband, and I'm like, what do I do? Sorry, there was no service in that spot. I had to run up the road a little bit. And as I did, I got a little bit of service, and I call him. I'm like, what do I do? Like, my tire is flat on the camper, and I'm panicking. And he said, Teresa, relax. You have a tire on the back. He said, you can change the tire. I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And I'm like, but really, I don't want to. And so, anyways, I said, well, I have to find a place that is flat that I can, because I'm on this hill, and I needed to find a place. Anyway, so I pull down the road a little bit, and I turn, and I see dead end. And I was like, oh my God, they will never find my body. And which is silly thinking, like just stupid thinking. Anyways, but again, I'm like, I don't want to turn this camper around because you can't turn around on a dime. And I'm not, an expert on it. I can do it if I have to, but I need somebody to help me. Anyway, so I'm like, I turn up this other road, and I see that there's a number of houses. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? God, what do I do? Do I pull in somebody's driveway? And I'm still driving up this road, and I'm like, I'm going to be on another slope that I'm not going to be able to change this tire. And I see these two fellows in a golf cart coming out of a driveway, and I was like, hey, can you help me? And so one of the gentlemen that was there, he was a retired marine mechanic, so he had everything in his garage. He was able to change my tire, and he actually backed the camper right up into his driveway and changed the tire for me. They gave me a bottle of water. He allowed me to pray for him before I left, and he said to me, there's a garage 7 miles down the road. You need to get this tire dealt with, the one that had gone flat. And what we found was the problem was they were old tires. They looked like they were brand spanking new, but they were old and they had cracked in between the treads. So even when we were looking at the tires, we wouldn't have even seen that or noted that they were old because they looked like they were brand new tires. So I get to the place that and got 2 brand new tires put on the camper at that garage that this gentleman had sent me to. And at the garage, they said, I was going as far as Sault Ste. Marie, and he said, when you get to the Sault, make sure you get the tires retorqued. And so anyways, off I go, and now I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I've passed a garage on the left. I'm like, I should have went there, but you know, when you're driving, you can't really, you're alone, you're not really looking or seeing stuff until you've gone by the opportunity to turn in. So anyways, I'm like, get off to the campsite, and I'm like, I'll have to get up early in the morning and I will get the tires retorqued. I'm like, but God, I really don't want to. I don't want to do this in the morning. And I don't want to wait later for a garage to open, and you know, and then how long am I going to have to wait and everything. I'm in my camper and I hear somebody is torquing their tires in the campsite. Praise God. So I ripped out of my camper as fast as I could and asked this guy, I said, hey, you're torquing your tires, right? And he goes, yes, I am. And I said, would you mind doing that on mine? And I explained to him what had happened, and he was more than happy to. God could not have ordained that situation any more than he did. He is so amazing. Yes, he's just amazing. Praise God. Hi, my name is Teresa. I want to talk about God's protection. I took a trip to Manitoba in a camper alone. Well, I drove my truck and had the camper as a pull behind. Anyways, an 18-foot. And I had asked the different ladies if they would pray for me before I went. Well, more than just ladies, sorry. Brothers and sisters in the Lord to pray before I went. I could literally see God's protecting hand upon me. There was many times where I was looking ahead of me and there was no one in front of me, and I looked behind me and I could see that there was no one behind me. I knew that the Lord was ahead of me and behind me. There was times where I've seen like a truck was coming directly at me, crossing over the line, and I just yelled, "Wake up!" And he moved right over, right as soon as I said that. So the Lord's protecting hand was upon me. And now when I had gotten to my destination, which is Clearwater, Manitoba, I left my camper there and we went to my sister's cottage, which was about 3.5 hours north in close to Grand Beach. Anyway, so when when we got there, I had ridden up in my sister's car, and overnight her tire went flat. So when we went out the next day to go somewhere, her tire was flat. We had called CAA and they came, and when he looked at her tires, he said that every single tire that she had on her vehicle was completely useless and that she needed to get 4 new tires. And she said, well, couldn't I just sell them and he said, you wouldn't even get $20 at a garage sale. These are so old. It is dangerous for you to be driving in this vehicle. Again, God's protection. God protected me and her and kept us safe driving there. And then we did have to drive like a half an hour to go and get the tires changed. And she got like 4 brand new tires. So I just praise God for his protecting hand upon us and the prayers of my brothers and sisters in the Lord.
Hello, Trumpet of Truth. This is Joseph. A lot of people know me here. I used to come to the discipleship meeting since the day it started on May, and I was able to make it till the last day. So I know this church by my friend Brian and Randy, and I really love this church, and I always wanted to come here, and cause there's a spiritual feeding. Actually, my spirit is getting fed by the lot of information here, taking us to the next level, giving us a spiritual growth. Actually, so I really want this kind of a relationship with God to grow and immense more and more. So I thought this was the right place God is showing me. So I prayed to God, if you want me to go to this church, make it happen. Because I work for Rogers, I'm a business tech support there, and they don't give us a schedule like a normal people till Monday to Friday. It just keeps shifting. I never got a Saturday, Sunday off in like 6 months. So the big chaos happened with Rogers, and they hired a lot of people, and I'm a senior there already, so they were able to open a new schedule right after I prayed, and I didn't even realize I chose the right schedule, which has a Saturday Sunday off. I was thinking if I start like a little later, I can still go to church and come back and start working. So after like 4 weeks, I got the approval with the Saturday Sunday off, just like I thought. So I'm able to make it to the church. So God answered my prayer, because it's impossible to get a weekend off like that. So I thought, so this is the will of God. He wants me to go there, and He answered my prayer, and that is my testimony. Thank you.